Hello, and welcome to a live popped culture on Deprogram with Keri Smith. I'm one of your hosts, Keri Smith, and I'm here with Mystery Chris. Hello, Mystery Chris. How are you?
Hey, good. How are you doing, Keri?
I'm good. I'm excited about tonight. I will say quickly to get it out of the way, if it's your first time here, this is a live show that Chris and I do Wednesday nights. And this one is all about frivolity and pop culture and entertainment. And we learn about topics together. And if you like the channel, please hit like and subscribe. Tomorrow, I have a guest that you may know, Chris. Tomorrow on Deprogrammed, 6 o'clock Texas time, I'm releasing an interview with Chris Gore from Film Threat, and I'm very excited about it. I love talking to him. He's just a wealth of information, and you would love him. So we should have him back on this Wednesday night show sometime. He knows all about Star Trek and all that stuff that you like.
Yeah, Chris Gore is awesome. Yeah, I've been listening to him
Okay.
recently, hearing a lot of stuff he's got to say. So, yeah, he's great.
Cool. So that is tomorrow. And then Friday, there's not going to be, I'm taking another Friday off because I'm traveling to New York for Minds Fest, which is on Saturday at the Beacon Theater. It's being put on by Minds, and it's hosted by Chrissy Mayer. And the panelists include people like Zuby, Libby Emmons, Tim Pool, Cornell West, and Coleman Hughes, just a whole bunch of interesting folks. So that's happening. I'm have to travel on Friday. So anyway, we are a relatively new channel. If you like the channel, please consider hitting like and subscribe. We do have ways that you can contribute financially if you want to. And I think Pirate, our lovely producer, has pinned those in the chat. So that's it. We're done.
And see.
And I just want to say to you, I know we talked off camera a little bit, but I didn't get to talk about this with you on camera. I had the best weekend in Dallas. I was hanging out with the Friday Night Tights guys, Gary from Nerdrotic, and Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, Ryan Cannell, RK Outpost, Odin's movie blog. Odin was there, Comics Division, Eric July. It was a ton of people, George the Giant Slayer. And just I met so many people, so many not just content creators, but so many people who came to the meetup and to Fan Expo and had interesting conversations with all these folks. And it was so inspiring. It was like there were people there who had recently left the left and were wanted to tell me their stories. And, everybody's got their own unique story, but then there's some similarities. And so anyway, it was great. It was great talking to all these people. So
That's awesome. How was the Fan Expo itself?
it was packed. So my friend, Julia,
Yeah.
Julie Van Art, she sells her art at a lot of cons. So she was there, and I was going to get to see her, and she was going to give me an exhibitor badge. And I actually just walked in the back door. I somehow I can get into places very easily.
Wait, what?
Yeah, there's like, I don't know, 10,000 people or something waiting out front, and I didn't have a badge or anything. I just went up the loading dock and went in the back. I talked to the guy at
The box? Pretend to be moving that box like in a movie.
I used to work in entertainment. I know how to go in the back door. You just walk in like you're busy. You just walk in like you have a notepad or something and you're looking for someone, or or you're just like,
I had a
or you're like,
friend who did
huh?
that, like, at a sporting event, a UT-OU game. He, pretended he was on his cell phone, and, like, he just walked through the gate, and some guy was like, sir," he's like he just pretended to keep talking on his cell phone, and, like, his girlfriend was like, "How am I supposed to get it?" He's like, "Do the same thing." She does the same thing, gets in the same way.
That's so, but look, somebody in the chat says white privilege. No, it's just looking busy privilege. I walked into the AVN, the porn convention once without a badge. What else? Well, anyway, there was one time, like at South by, one of my other manager friends, she taught me how to do this. There was a long line to get into an event, one of those clubs that they're in Austin, a huge line. And we actually had badges. She was like, we're not waiting in this line. So she's like, let's go through the kitchen. So we just walked in and she's like, it's John here. I need to speak with John. And they're like, I think he's inside. And so we just go straight through.
Wow. Trying to think of the most generic name you think of, most common name.
Yeah. And then gosh, anyway, there's other funny stories. There was one at a Questlove show. But so what's funny about this is I got in and my friend, of course, is looking for me at the lobby to give me the bag. And then I'm like, no, I'm like near your booth. She's like, how did you get in here? And then it was packed. It was full of just it was like Comic-Con in San Diego. It seemed that large to me anyway. I don't know the numbers, but it seemed very large. And I mostly just stayed in Artist Alley at her booth and helped her. Um, and then I had to go to her car. You'll find this funny. I had to go to her car because she got to spread out and take a double booth. And I had to go get some supplies for her to help display the rest of her art. And so I took this wagon and I started walking around the convention center, and it was so hot, and it was like a mile if I had walked around, right? So I tried to cut back in through another back door, a different loading dock, and I walked into the backstage of a bodybuilding competition that was happening. Also without a badge.
Like
And then I
Pee-wee's
came out
Big
and I'm like,
Adventure at the very end where he's going
mhm.
through all the studios and one
It was like Pee-wee. It was totally like Pee-wee, just walking through everything. I thought I was going back into the con, but I ended up in this bodybuilding expo. They had booths and stuff too and badges, but so I wandered through there and then
be funny, and they're
eventually
like,
made it.
"All right, you're up next." They start pushing you up on stage. Like,
Yeah.
you just
Yeah,
have to
there were
film.
bodybuilders back there flexing, getting ready to go up. Uh
She's very minimalist. I
yeah,
love
it was pretty funny. But then so on Sunday, I went to the Gina Carano panel, and I had not uh heard her speak at length before, and she was amazing. She just said she said so many wonderful things. She said things, she talked about deciding to do the Daily Wire movie and how she was after her cancellation, she was about to start work on a film that was a union film, in the industry, and they said might require all the actors and crew to get the vax. And she sort of said, well, I don't think it's controversial to say that we should be able to choose if we want to do that or not. It's injecting something into your body. And so she decided not to do it and instead went and did this Daily Wire project and got to direct and everything. And she said a couple of great things about, you know, choosing the path that is harder, but is more rewarding and is maybe not as lucrative, but you get to respect yourself in the end. She said, I respect myself after these past 2 years. And she said something at one point about how we're going to take back the art, and I thought that was awesome.
it.
So
That's awesome. Not only to see the response from fans towards her, but the fact that the people putting on these, conventions are having her. And I know you know, Friday Night Tights guys had their own, um, panel at this expo, and I thought that was great. You
yes,
would think that they would be very afraid, given the culture. Could you hear stories about Vic Mignogna, and how people are trying to get him kicked off of various panels and out of conventions because of his, politics, or really his religion, I think.
oh, I met him.
Did you?
Yes, he was at dinner. I forgot his name, but yeah, that was his name. What is
Nice.
his story?
So he was like falsely accused of some sexual misconduct by some person I forget where he ran into this woman, but he basically like lost his big deal. He's a voiceover actor, and
Yes.
yeah, his career kind of got ruined for a bit, and now he's kind of fighting to restore his name to people when he was wrongly smeared. So
Yeah. Cool. Well, I didn't realize his whole backstory. He was just someone. There were so many people, like I said, Culture Casino, Drunk 3PO, like just a lot of folks. Anyway, that's the wrap up from the weekend. And Pirate is saying in the chat, and this is true, We have to get a soundboard now, Mr. Chris, because I had so much fun doing all the sound effects on the
I
Friday
did
Tight
see
Show.
those Friday Takes, yeah. I know.
Yeah, that would be fun to have something like that. So this topic, you guys, we're talking about Soviet propaganda and or entertainment, I guess, depending on how you view it tonight. And when you suggested this, I was excited because I don't know a lot about it. It's one of those things that I'm interested in learning more about. And so we pulled up some articles and some clips to show you guys and just learn about it with you. Um, did you want to set it up at all about why you were interested in this?
Yeah, well, just like you said, I knew next to nothing about Soviet, pop. I want to put that in quotes, pop culture. It's more like a state mandated pop culture, but
Prop culture.
yeah, there we go. But yeah, I knew really, nothing about it, and so I was curious and thought this was a great opportunity to dig in and see if the entertainment was as propagandistic and as lackluster as I would believe it would be.
Hmm. And what did you find?
Well, it seems for the most part, yes. Um, I was trying to look at it from different genres because I was looking more at TV, and I think you did some research for movies. But when I was looking at TV, I was comparing it to TV programs that we had here in the West and seeing the kind of difference. Like one of the big things that, far as I can tell, that there, for the most part, no sitcoms in the Soviet Union. I mean,
Huh.
there were some comedy shows, like variety type shows, but there wasn't really a sitcom. And I've been thinking about this all day, trying to um, think about why that is. Because if in America we had the more nuclear family centered sitcoms, I can understand Soviet Union not wanting to promote the family unit above all others, because it's collectivism. But
Right.
it doesn't have to be centered on a family. It could be,
It could
guys
be
work
MASH.
factory. Yeah, yeah, you could do something like that. And so it just, I not sure exactly why they didn't have sitcoms. They also didn't have comic books really for the most part, and I think that one's a little bit more obvious. You don't want to have any heroes that are embodying any kind of individualistic values. You don't want people to start thinking about the individual and the rights that they inherently have.
Right.
You have to think about the group. So those are two interesting things. But I did find out some information about TV, the fact that there were no commercials up until like the late 80s, which I have an article I'll read later about
Hmm.
that. But it's interesting. Sounds pretty miserable.
There was a lot of dancing. This is what I found, which is
Well,
interesting.
yeah,
And
so
yeah,
stay warm.
somebody, I just saw this go by in the chat. Scott Miller says, in Soviet Union, you don't watch TV, TV watches you. That's pretty good. Okay, I can't do accents.
Yes.
Wh-
Okay. Keri, what is next? Yes.
What does that mean?
What? What do you mean, Keri? This is my bad Russian accent.
It's actually it's really good, I think.
No, well,
No.
it's all the vodka I've been drinking.
No, you haven't. Um, let's pull up this first article. So this is from a socialist website, I believe, which is interesting. But links International Journal of Socialist Renewal, and
Keri,
this is
just gotta say, 1 second. Socialist, socialist word here, plus not secure up here.
what?
Socialist here, not secure, not secure link here.
I couldn't see the screen because I was pulling up the article, and I'm like, "What's happening?"
Not sure what's going on here.
You guys, it's Comrade Pirate Tomsky.
Sorry, me go away, me go away, me go away.
Woohoo! This is when it would be good to have the soundboard and be ending wah 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 as you leave. Thank you, thank you. That made me laugh. Okay, this first article. Okay, very long. We're not going to read the whole thing. It gets very detailed about a lot of different films. I just wanted to read about why they thought film was important, why the Bolsheviks thought it was important for propaganda, which I think is kind of obvious, but let's read some of this. So, second paragraph, it says, however, the Bolsheviks would revolutionize Russian cinema. So at first they're talking about how Russia launched its own film industry and how it was growing, and they had their own distributors. They didn't have to rely on foreign films. So the Bolsheviks would revolutionize Russian cinema as leaders recognized the potential of film propaganda as a way to influence the political and social attitudes of the people. Vladimir Lenin clearly understood the power of film as he stated, quote, of all the arts, for us, cinema is most important, end quote. Should have had Pirate read that. The Bolsheviks nationalized the film industry in 1919, giving the people's I can never say that word. Can you say it?
Com- Commiserate? Is that where are you?
Commissariat. It's commissariat. That's what it is.
Barely.
People's Commissariat for Education Control over Film Production, with a mandate to use cinema to promote the communist cause at home and abroad. So that's, to me, when I read they, of course, they nationalized the film industry, I immediately thought of Britain and Canada and NPR and things like that, which I don't know about you, but being on the left for so long, I never used to question having some type of some kind of state-run media. I kind of thought of it as a good thing. It's non-biased. It's public. It's public radio, right?
The People's Radio.
Exactly. Isn't that weird what it does to your brain when you think I've had to rewire the whole way I think about that word public now. Before delving into Soviet film in particular, it is crucial to first understand why film stood out as a key propaganda tool in the early 20th century. Film was a new medium. While propagandistic images had been used in various ways throughout history, moving images offered something fresh. One of the most well known tales in film history about the impact of film on early viewers is that upon watching Lumiere's Arrival of the Train, audiences shrieked in horror as the train coming directly towards them from the background of the image. Even though this story may have been embellished, early audiences were intrigued by film's ability to animate real life imagery. Thus, film offered unprecedented realism beyond the traditional effect of pamphlets, posters, and even photography. Furthermore, since the majority of Russia's population were illiterate peasants, film could reach a widespread audience who would not have responded as well to written propaganda. And then I'm just going to read a little bit from this paragraph, and then I want to show you guys something. The Bolsheviks focused their film industry on promoting specific communist themes among the Russian people and around the world. Different times meant different goals. During the years from 1917 revolution to the death of Joseph Stalin in 1953, Soviet propaganda adjusted to reflect the needs of the party in three periods: the revolution, the Civil War, and the new economic policy. Stalinization, modernization, and the Great Purges, and the pre-war World War II and post-war years. Over the course of these periods, Soviet film focused successively on the following key objectives: enshrining the ideals of the revolution, solidifying the Bolsheviks' version of history, so rewriting history, and justifying Bolshevik leadership, promoting international revolution, and calling on workers everywhere to unite against their oppressors. That sounds kind of familiar today, doesn't it? Demonstrating the power of the people working together, elucidating the concept of the new Soviet person and of the Cultural Revolution, showing the ongoing struggle against class enemies. Showing the ongoing struggle against class enemies. That also sounds very familiar, except I would say identity enemies. Promoting the controversial policy and methods of collectivization, demonstrating how industrialization would improve the lives of ordinary people while bringing society closer to the communist ideal, and celebrating Stalin as the strong leader of the Russian people and justifying questionable means to protect the people from enemies, foreign and domestic. In short, Soviet film propaganda evolved in both content and style to reflect the changing political goals of the party during these periods. That was a mouthful.
But this is almost like the superheroes of then for Russia, given that they weren't promoting, too many archetypes. In fiction, it's more the realistic, actual person, Joseph Stalin or someone who served in, the Communist Party that was being promoted to the level of, a, I don't know, Batman or something.
He was like Superman.
Yeah, and they're crafting a whole story around that, very romanticizing this person's life and, what they quote unquote did for, the collective.
Yeah. It's like Chairman Mao putting his image on everything, and of course, I know if you're thinking of fiction, people will think of Big Brother's image, but you will see in this next link, this is about a particular film from 1939. It was called Tractor Drivers. And you used to be able to find the whole thing, the original version on YouTube. I couldn't find it. Maybe somebody else can. I think the version there was one version that's been removed. But because what they did is they ended up editing it later. But in the original version, Stalin's face was in a lot of scenes. There were a lot of these slogans that were uplifting Stalin and just kind of peppered throughout the film. So in this link, let's see. Oh, yeah, you've got it up. Thanks, Pirate. So this is an article called Stalin Was Their Drug, Tractor Drivers. And this is a blog. This guy writes about different types of Soviet films. He says, I love the poster of the 1939 Soviet movie called Tractor Drivers, as it instantly makes me think of my all-time favorite, El Topo. And there you can see those two side by side. To get El Topo, you had to smoke weed. While watching Tractor Drivers, I had a feeling that all the actors had to take speed to keep in line with the director's vision. In this worker's paradise, everybody is aggressively happy and hyperactive. They plow the soil in ecstasy. They feverishly exclaim instead of talking. They laugh their heads off for no reason and all of a sudden burst into singing. Cinematic pathos was very characteristic for the Stalin era. Tractor Drivers is one of many films mythologizing the everyday life of a collective farm and representing its hyper idealized image on the screen. Tractor Driver shows us the cult of personality in its full bloom. Stalin is omnipresent. The leader looks down from portraits, tractors are named after him, and the film's characters constantly praise him in songs. This is a musical, by the way, Tractor Drivers. There's lots of singing and dancing. I have to admit that Khrushchev did a pretty nice job denouncing the cult of Stalin's personality. In the 1960s, the songs of Tractor Drivers were rewritten and the film was redubbed. This also, I've been to Italy once, and one of the things that was interesting was to see how every time there was a new Superman, if you will, that they would destroy a lot of the statues and the figures of the previous one. It's like, no, now we're doing my image, right, everywhere. So here we go. Take a look at the stills below. And Pirate, make this a little bigger if you can so people can see it. On the left, they are from the original 1939 version of the film, and on the right, from the 1960s edited version. So you can see on the left, there's a portrait of Stalin right here. And then on the right, they've changed it out with some bearded guy. And then if you scroll down to the tractor, on the top of the tractor, the original film, you could see Stalin's name there on the top. It's been removed, just kind of erased in the redub. And then there's a final scene here. They give you another example of the wedding scene. And way up there at the top in the picture on the left, you can see Stalin's picture looking out over everyone like Big Brother. And it was removed, of course, when they redid the film.
But think about how, lack of a better term, poetic justice for, what happened there. Because Joseph Stalin, if you were an enemy, which basically meant he just suddenly woke up and decided you were his enemy, he would have you killed, your entire family killed, anybody who knew you killed. They would literally take an eraser and erase your face from any picture that you're in So to have the same treatment that he would do to countless number of other people done to him after he died, it's quite fitting.
They would take an eraser and erase your face.
Yeah, they're trying to erase your existence, like any record of your existence. They were trying to destroy.
That also makes me think of 1984 and how Winston Smith had to edit things out of the history books,
Mm-hmm.
drop it down the memory hole.
Right? Yeah. I mean, a lot of
incinerate it.
communism. So yeah.
It also makes me think of a lot of Lifetime movies where a woman breaks up with someone and then cuts his face out of pictures.
Whoa! Is that every Lifetime movie?
It's every Lifetime movie about an unstable woman.
Whoa.
Like Stalin. Okay. So there's the little clip here. Before we cue it up, I'll just read what he says. He says, Tractor Drivers is a musical film. I simply love the fact that even the musical genre, always defined by escapism it offered to audiences in the Soviet Union, still served propaganda purposes. If musical numbers in Hollywood musicals were usually just spectacular disruptions of storyline meant to entertain, in the Soviet musical, they were ideological interludes used to remind the viewer about his duties as a Soviet citizen. This crazy dance sequence, for instance, shows how relentless a Soviet worker is. After plowing the soil all day, he is tripping away like nothing happened. Let's play that one.
Эй! Эх ты! Разве так пляшут? Вот как надо! Давай, ребята! Эх ты! Эх!
Yeah. He loved working in that collectivist farm.
Great.
Look at all the energy he still has at the end of that long workday.
Вот как надо, милая моя. А ты растерялся.
Sonora says they're doing the hokey pokey. Oh, okay. One last thing from that article. You don't have to pull it back up. Well, actually, yeah, because I want to show you these pictures. In the Hollywood cinema of that time, the girls were gold digging, flapping, and showing, and their ultimate desire, nevertheless, was to get happily married. Tractor Drivers offers us a new type of woman. The heroine, Mariana Bazin, is an expert tractor driver and foreman of the brigade who, in her spare time, dashingly rides a motorbike and beats off unwanted admirers. Highly masculinized in the beginning of the film, Mariana gradually acquires femininity and finally ends up married to the hero, but does it only after the tractor station authorities grant their approval. And so you can see some pictures of her there. Oh, and then there's just some funny stuff about remakes in the 90s with some of those tractor driver characters. For anybody that likes weird, esoteric, like indie film, that would probably be interesting. But yeah. Okay. Do you want to talk to me a little about TV?
Sure. Pirate, if you could bring up the article Early Television in the Soviet Union, please. All right. Okay, so in this article, it says, let's see, as Russian historian Kristen Roth-E writes, it was a particularly tricky one for Soviet officials and citizens in the 1950s and 60s when television was new and exciting. Rothi writes that the Soviet government immediately saw television's potential as a way to demonstrate the regime's technological capacity, promote the idea of a socialist good life, and bring domestically made media into citizens' homes. For a regime struggling and mostly failing to prevent its citizens from turning into foreign radio, television was a very alluring alternative, Rothi writes. to the early televisions had screens the size of postcards and broke down frequently, which I did read an article where it talked about how some of these TVs would explode. So that's pretty cool.
Wow.
There wasn't much to watch either. In the late 1950s, the most active station in the country, Moscow TV, only broadcast for 4 hours a day. And yet, as early as 1954, a New York Times reporter observed that the Muscovites were frankly wild about television. While it wasn't until 1970 the majority of Soviet homes had TVs, many households got them much earlier, and not only wealthy ones. In 1955, a visiting American marveled at houses that sagged in the mud but were equipped with TV antennas. Despite its evident propaganda potential, Rothi writes, TV production was far from a centralized government endeavor. In the early days, ham radio clubs run by civil defense groups set up local stations. For ambitious praktici, I don't know how you pronounce that, TV was tricky medium. It was impossible to see or to report to one's supervisors how many people actually watched broadcasts or how they reacted. As the Communist Party magazine Communist compared in 1959, to some people, reading a lecture on TV seems not a terrible important affair, while appearing in a lecture hall seating 300 to 500 people seems so much more responsible. After all, you can count how many people were there and how many questions were asked. Officials also hoped to spread cultural literacy through TV, Rothi writes. In 1965, communists described the medium as aesthetic education's most widespread and flexible instrument and a powerful tool for the propaganda of the beautiful. Stations were allowed to broadcast feature films within as little as a month of their theatrical release, and TV crews brought many theater and dance performers to their home audience. And so it goes on a little bit, but what was interesting in reading some other articles about TV is from what I could tell, there was 4 national stations that the entire Soviet Union, for the most part, had access to. But each republic, each country that was absorbed in the Soviet Union had its own stations, and then sometimes cities would have their own stations. But, all obviously had to report to, the central government in terms of, types of programming that are running on there. But early in the 1950s, when it came about, it seems like there were some parallels to America, how in America in the 1950s, a lot of the elites were concerned about TV appealing too much to lowbrow, interest, people who are interested in that kind of thing. And there was kind of a push by some of them to try to create more highbrow entertainment. And what I've read is the Soviet Union was kind of like that, but quickly the government kind of took more control over TVs in the mid to late 50s. And, the elites kind of, didn't have much of an influence on that. But from then on, the end of the Soviet Union, it was primarily games, TV quiz shows. It was variety shows. Like I said, not a lot of sitcoms. Not a whole lot of variety of television type or American type shows being shown in Soviet television. So it wasn't a lot of options. Didn't have a lot of channels to choose between. But a lot of people still tune in because what else are we going to do, sadly?
Right. Ozymandias is saying, well, TV is referred to programming for a reason.
Yeah, they called it Program 1.
They did these things that you sent me. They had the sign off, right? Like some people will remember that from their childhood, maybe where the television and would I don't remember from my childhood. I remember in movies that talked about an older period where at the end they would play the American, the national anthem and have the American flag flowing. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So they had something similar. Do you want to watch that now?
Yeah, Pirate, if you can pull up that clip, the Soviet sign off, which is quite interesting, and I believe it's the same anthem that Russia still uses, if I think I'm correct. But yeah, it was interesting. And there's a weird beep at the beginning, just a warning. So maybe you want to just mute it real quick and play it. So yeah, yeah, you can unmute it now. I think we're good. Yeah, there we go.
Kevin says, should I be standing for this? I feel like I should be standing. The sign off would freak me out after I saw Poltergeist. Scott, yeah. That is a movie where I saw it too. The Party of Linen, the Strength of the People.
Yeah.
They've got their masks on early.
They own nothing.
They're talking about the triumph of communism, the son of freedom, and the great Lenin who's shown our path to a just cause. Lenin lifted the people to labor and heroic deeds. He inspired us. A reliable stronghold of people's friendship. Alan Scott says, I think CNN is starting its broadcast day. Hail Drago! I need some vodka. This is a long anthem, is it not?
I'm falling asleep already.
Yeah, we can stop there. We get it, Russia. We get it, Soviet Russia.
Yeah.
You guys in the chat are cracking me up. Don Lemon should change his name to Don Lennon.
Okay.
Along those same lines, you sent over something that they started their day with, which surprised me.
Which one was this? What did I send? I'm trying to remember.
The exercise.
Oh yeah, the exercise video. Part, do you have that one?
It looks great already.
I know. Yeah, go ahead and play that. Yeah. I want what he's wearing.
Раз, два, три, четыре.
So this is like a national exercise thing that they did.
Yeah, it's like the equivalent of sit and be fit.
А теперь выполним упражнение лежа. Это упражнение для мышц живота.
You know what this makes me think of? I had to look up the name of it. I found this 80s record at the thrift shop a few years ago, and it's got ladies like this on the front doing aerobics, and it's a record, and it's called Firm Believer. It's a Christian workout album on a record. Firm Believer.
Два маха согнутой ногой, один прямой.
So just think about the difference between this and like the aerobics
Раз,
videos in America,
два,
where the
три,
women wear like
4. Повернулись.
swimsuits.
В другую сторону.
All those.
The ones in America would have swimsuits.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I used to work out to Jane Fonda
Yes.
and Cher. Cher had 2
Старайтесь
workout
повыше
tapes
ногу.
that were
Buns of
quite
Steel.
good.
Yeah, Suzanne Summers
Buns
had
of
it.
Steel. And the Cher one, she would wear total bikini type or bathing suit type leotards with sparkles and fishnets.
It's interesting because I know like the Soviets, they banned a lot of sexual type materials on television, but it almost seems like you want to promote that. Back then, like you kind of want the people to have their vices and kind of be degenerates, so government can still kind of reign over them.
I don't know though. I don't know. I'd have to think about that more. I mean, that's the method here is they want us to be, I think the powers that be want us to be drunk, stoned sex addicts, completely, zoned out every day.
Right.
But there, they needed these people to work the factories and the farms, right? So I don't know.
Drunken. I mean, it's not like people are trying very hard anyway.
There's something cool about having a national exercise program in the morning. I'm not going to knock this one. I kind of think if we had something like this, that's like unites us all. Everybody get up. If you turn your TV on, we're all going to work out. It's going to be, Cindy Crawford, somebody says. Or, what was his name? Sweating to the Oldies.
Richard Simmons?
Richard Simmons. Yeah.
Yeah. What if they had a national exercise program instead of locking down the entire country 2 years ago?
That would be crazy, Mystery Chris. They needed to keep the liquor stores and the fast food joints open and close the gyms.
Well, they're doctors. I trust them. Bill Gates is a trained professional. He knows what he's doing.
I trust them. That was fun.
Let's see. Did you have another article or
No. I have some more things for later. I have a couple of dance articles actually.
I did have one other article. This is about commercials. Pirate, if you could please bring up the how commercials make their way to Soviet television. This was a very interesting article. It makes sense when you think about it, but I didn't think about it prior to reading this. So it says, I'm just going to read a little bit. Children love them. Adults hate them. What are they? Bingo! Television ads. In the 1960s, the first television commercial appeared on screens in Soviet Union, and it was nothing short. I think it cut off while I'm reading. There was no commercial advertising on Soviet television. Lyubov Platonova, an award-winning TV producer of the Arts Channel, Rozier Kultura, explains, back in those days, TV commercials had zero impact on business and culture. Let's see. It keeps cutting off here. Sorry. After all, there's no point in creating advertising in the form, scale, and volume in which it exists today, says Platonova. The 2-minute porn clip aired in 1964 during the culture years of Khrushchev's thaw. It's common knowledge that the ambitious Soviet leader, inspired by the highly successful U.S. experience, wanted to turn the country into the world's second largest corn producers. So it goes into how a lot of these ads were paid for by the government. The government would tell the companies that it owned that it had to spend 1% of its budget on advertising, and a lot of this advertising was never planning to go out. Even if it did go out, it was basically just promoting, that the product existed. Obviously, the price is set. There's no competition. There's only one product people can choose between. So it's simply just more of just an awareness thing rather than trying to make a competitive pitch or a persuasion or something like that. And so commercials, for the most part, weren't seen in Soviet Union up until the mid to late 80s. And I believe the first American ad to show in the Soviet Union was a Pepsi ad with Michael Jackson. And Pepsi became like the most favorite soft drink of the Soviet Union for a while, up until Coca-Cola, I think maybe a decade and a half ago or so. But it is really interesting to see that how an entire culture went decades without being inundated with advertisements. Because advertisements really are a form of propaganda anyway.
Right. But it's not this makes sense. And there was that other article you sent me about how they made commercials for products that don't even exist. That blew my mind. And one of the things it said in that piece was that because it's not a capitalist system, there's no company, there's no competition. And so, but they knew that they wanted to project this sort of opulent society and that sense of aspiration that people have when they see something that they want, right? And so they had them make these commercials for fake products.
Yeah.
Which is insane. Were you going to pull that one up too?
Yeah, I think Pirate, can you please pull that one up? Yeah, they wanted to put forward the image of abundance.
Yes.
A lot of people were starving, sadly.
This is crazy,
Chris.
Chris.
It's just gaslighting on the huge...
Did you know about this before looking it up?
No, I didn't.
I had never heard this before. Can I read part of this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Soviet spiel. Why the USSR produced ads for non-existing products. And then there's a lovely lady climbing out of a car. Because the government required all companies to spend 1% of their revenue on advertising, the Soviet Union's sole ad agency churned out hundreds of commercials pitching imaginary products. Who in his right mind would produce a TV commercial for a product that does not exist? Well, between 1967 and 1991, the Soviet Union's sole advertising agency produced literally thousands of commercials pitching products that state-owned companies did not produce and had absolutely no intention of producing, from minced chicken to hot air showers and double-layered toilet seats. The Estonia-based Etsy Reklam Film, the ERF, made over 6,000 commercials for all manner of goods, both real and fictitious. This is that part I was talking about. In a consumer-oriented capitalist society, advertising is about getting people to buy your product instead of your competitors. But because of the absence of competition in the communist system, television advertising had a totally different purpose and role. According to the Australian magazine Smith Journal, its objective in the simplest sense was to project a narrative of abundance, that's what you said, onto a population that was accustomed to experiencing scarcity. Let's just scroll down and show this minced chicken meat commercial that for something that you couldn't even buy. Why? Look at the chicken. They're like, this looks great.
There has to be some kind of like subliminal messaging going on. Like, I refuse to believe this is solely about chicken.
Oh, it tastes so good.
The government's making it. Do you want to end up on the dinner table? I think so.
Look how happy they are there. They're almost as happy as that collectivist farmer who was dancing at the end of his day. Anyway, that blew my mind. So thanks for letting me read part of that. I can't get over it. What happened when you went into the stores and you looked for the minced chicken?
Just bought minced horse. I don't know.
It says just one more thing from here, because it said something about how it said when the creatives at that one advertising agency produced whatever ads they wanted, and when the party bosses reviewed the films, everyone pretended that everything was just fine. Basically, nobody cared. After all, if the products were real, they would sell anyway in a country where shortages were widespread. That sounds like today. If the ads were pitching ghost products, it didn't matter. It didn't matter, as there was nothing to sell. It makes me think of I hate to keep going back to the same book, but 1984, where they would do the fake news updates every day, and they would just say stuff that wasn't even true, like chocolate rations are doubled today, or chocolate's up 10%. I can't remember. There was a specific line about how they would kind of brag about how you're getting more chocolate today. It's kind of to appease people, and like you said, that sense of abundance, and so I guess psychologically speaking, if people are watching this, the idea behind it is, yeah, people are starving, there's food shortages, life sucks. Let's make sure that what people are watching presents this fantasy world to them. That's sort of this world where you can go to the store and get all of these things, these amazing, fantastical things, including minced chicken. If only it weren't sold out, you could get the minced chicken. It's sold out though, right?
And it's funny, the advertising, it's not really a firm, it was a agency. They did the advertising for all these state-owned companies. Once the Soviet Union collapsed and free market came about, the previously state-owned ad agency went out of business. They couldn't compete with private companies.
Really?
Yeah. It was weird. Think about it. Like, you perfected the propaganda technique. You think you could still transfer that over to selling actual products, but no.
It's just so bizarre. Anyway, that's the weirdest thing of everything, I think.
Very weird. Let's see what else. Those are all the articles I had.
Can we watch some of the clips?
Yes.
So this one is topical. It's a movie it's getting a reboot, right? Lord of the Rings.
And the thing is, this is probably still going to be tons better than the Amazon.
This is the Russian Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, so this was discovered a couple of years ago. Apparently, this was made in either 1990 or 91, around that time. And it's a made-for-television movie, Lord of the Rings. So let's watch a bit, see if we can understand what the hell's going on.
This is the one that Pirate Tomsky said, you put one in the folder, guys, that's 5 hours long. And we were like, yeah, we're not watching the whole thing.
Spare no expense on that ring. Like gold foil. I was watching a little bit of this, and I'm thinking, this kind of looks like a movie I would have made when I was a kid. Is this one of my movies? Did I make this?
I'm waiting for you to appear. Can you say that in your accent?
Written by Tolitsky. I only think that there's a 10-year difference between this and Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. Just think of like a huge jump in quality. What about that?
Okay, new series idea. While everyone else, all the Geeks and Gamers, Friday Tice guys, whoever, they're going to be talking about the new Lord of the Rings stuff, we should be reviewing this on a week-to-week basis. Tune in with all 5 of us to look at the Russian ring. Oh, nerdy girl. I have seen Turkish Star Wars.
Yeah.
I have seen Turkish Star Wars, and I've seen Turkish Batman and Turkish Spider-Man, and I used to, one of my good friends, he, uber geek, worked at Marvel, had just a crazy collection of the bootleg Turkish films. We should do a Turkish film night.
Yeah.
Да-да, вы не ослышали. 111
Can we
убийств.
watch the rest of this?
Хоббиты жили долго. Свои 111 либо выглядит, наверное, на 50, не больше. Ведь когда в душе не живет жадность злоба, тело долго остается молодым.
When spirit is free of malice, body stays young for a long time. Is that what it said?
I'm just so distracted by the visual imagery. Cinematography is just, it's great. It's a little Doctor Who-ish, like old school Doctor Who.
It does. Oh wait, that's Gandalf.
Ты все правильно.
It
Oh,
that's Gandalf and Bilbo. It does look like the production values of old school Doctor Who.
who's that? That guy's was. Oh, Bilbo. Is it Bilbo?
Oh, it's Gollum, is it?
Oh.
Or
Did you ever go to like Six Flags and like do their little video thing where they like put you on in front of a blue screen for like a music video? Like your friends is like playing like a fake guitar, and it's like the worst blue screen technology.
no, my parents would never splurge for that.
Oh,
Did you do that?
yeah, it was terrible.
Я видел горло.
Oh yeah, go. There we go.
There's
That's terrible.
I could be in this movie. I can act that good. That well.
Is there no direction for any of this? They're just like, just do something.
He's kind of
Those
acting
guys
that
are that
it's like a theater actor, you know, where you have to really create it in the imagination of the viewer and sell it over the top.
kind of looks like Jim Carrey.
John says ring in a fish tank. Yeah. Still better than Rings of Power.
Yep. It's a straight up whole video. It's like it's all single cam for the most part, right? Doesn't seem like they've been cutting.
Так начиналось долгое путешествие.
And so began our friend's long journey from Shire to Mordor.
Капли дождя пели свою песню.
Raindrops sang their tune. This is our narrator.
Сбывалось.
Oh.
This reminds me of, do you remember the Through the Looking Glass made for TV Alice in Wonderland movies? They were so creepy. Do you remember those?
I don't think I've ever seen those.
Carol Channing was in one of them. Oh, I know what we have to do one week. You would find these so strange. I think you would love them. Anyway, it looks kind of like that. The props. This is better than cable access TV. Tree Surgeon says this is less Marxist than Rings of Power too.
Somebody had to like edit this into like a modern movie trailer.
Смелее, милые друзья. Здесь вам не грозит никакая опасность. Пусть сырость ночи останется в лесу. Вы верно страшитесь еще густого тумана, темных деревьев.
I'm kind of stuck watching this. We need to stop though. We have a couple more things to cover.
Mesmerizing.
Yeah, Therese puffing stuff. Yeah.
Never understood how they got away with that name.
Oh man. Okay. That was fun. What about the soldiers dancing?
Yes. So the Soviet, I think the army, they like to dance, and I found out there was a clip from a movie from 1965. This one, I like. This is that clip, but they put on hard bass music on it, and I think it goes better than the original.
Okay, so this is not the original. This is someone did a remix of
That's the
Soviet.
original, I believe, and the one that Pirate just clicked on was the dubbed in audio.
The dance of the soldiers.
I didn't think about inviting in time, but we should have on sometime is my friend Juana. She's
Mhm.
written a lot about how communist governments would put out these sort of group like collectivist dancing. So you would have all these different propaganda with soldiers dancing, and she compares it to all the TikTok doctors dancing that we've seen in the past 2 years. And she just makes these interesting connections between the two, and why it is, because you would think of this repressive communist regime, this totalitarian regime wouldn't allow you to have something so expressive, right? And so artistic, but much like the television and the film, it's what you're seeing is a controlled kind of dancing, and it's also collectivist, like the nature of the films, right? Where they're showing people on the farms working on these collectivist farms having so much fun doing it. And then when you're seeing dancing, it's not like couples dancing, right? It's these almost military style, and sometimes with literal military guys.
All dressed the same,
All dressed the same.
Yep. Yeah. If you go ahead and play that, please, Pirate.
Наркотик не класс, я еду на Харбас. Если ты не знал, наркотик не класс, я еду на Харбас. Если ты не знал, наркотик не класс, я еду на Харбас. Если ты не знал, наркотик.
This one really makes me think of the TikTok nurses.
Если ты не знал, наркотик. Вы слушаете школу танцев Хардбаса.
Like, this makes my knees hurt just by looking at it. What if, like, we got it all wrong? Like, it's just how the Soviets are planning World War III. Like in America, we're like, oh, it's gonna be a nuclear war. And they're like, oh, they told me.
It's just going to be collectivist dancing.
I like this guy. I call him World War.
You almost want to hear them like, woo, from the side.
They're like the X-Men, like each one has a certain dancing power.
It's like they're acrobats.
Do you think they like train for like little kids?
Well, they're doing Jane Fonda every morning. They're doing those exercises every morning.
Yeah. Okay, I get it. I see the system. All right, makes sense.
This is like walking up in the club like
Look at these guys.
New intro for Keri's channel? Maybe, perhaps.
Keep waiting when it kicks someone in the face, but it never happens.
Surly Unicorn says mutually assured dancing.
Yeah. That would be a great movie.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Pirate.
Yeah. And do you have something else?
I have an article about the discotheque that I can pull up. I just lost it. Can you put it in the private chat? Oh, there it is. And make it a little bit larger, if you don't mind. So this is called 1980s, the golden age of Soviet discotheques. And if you scroll down just a little, looking back on how people in the Soviet Union used to spend their time after work, the first thing that comes to mind is the discotheque. The 1980s were truly the golden age of Soviet discos. Today, DJs are everywhere in Russia. 9 out of 10 public festivities will include a DJ at some point. A disc jockey's equipment nowadays consists of a laptop, a compact mixer, and a pair of headphones, and they all easily fit into a backpack. DJs come to you wherever you need them now, but there was a time when people stood in long lines looking for tickets to the magical place called the discotheque. Looking back on how people in the Soviet Union spent their time after work, the first thing that comes to mind, I already read that, is the discotheque. The 1980s were truly the golden age of Soviet discos. It is well known now that in the Soviet Union, people led a hard, monotonous, and uneventful lifestyle. Yet regardless how difficult life was for Soviet citizens, they liked to have fun, so they found a natural and safe way to entertain themselves by organizing dancing parties. Even during Stalin's hardline dictatorship, people were able to dance in official culture clubs in the cities or in the dvor, the courtyard in front of their homes. The older generation still remembers summer evenings when someone would bring their pataphone, which is like a gramophone, in front of the building, and neighbors would come down and dance Ria Rita, a popular tune at the time. And then they've got some of these songs. The sources of music at dancing parties were usually the mechanical turntable, an accordionist, or a simple three-piece band. Dancing in the Soviet Union was probably one of a few officially permitted types of entertainment. Officially permitted. Many Soviet films in the 1930s to 1950s included dancing scenes, and these films were ideologically approved by Soviet censors. And this goes back to that, like the clip that we saw at the beginning. They would have these collectivist dancing scenes. It wasn't always soldiers, it would be farmers, but they'd all be dancing. Anyway, we can stop there. I want to see some of the clips that you have, but I just thought that was interesting because, as I said, when I first was thinking about it, I'm like, why would they allow them to do something that's so joyful and so fun? But on the other hand, maybe a lot of it was controlled in the same way that the film and TV was controlled, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. So I was trying to find information about how much music really infiltrated the Soviet Union, because I remember watching Beatles retrospectives and talking about how a lot of the records were snuck in. And as I was researching today, I was thinking about how different a lot of the bordering Soviet countries must have been in terms of people having access to some of the Western music. Because you think something like East Germany being able to pick up transmissions from West Germany, and despite their government trying to forbid them to tune in to Western transmissions, obviously people were going to do that. And so it's always interesting to think about how different those areas must have been compared to maybe some of the areas that were more further away from Western countries.
Mm-hmm. Plus, with dancing, it's sort of, as you were saying, you were surprised they didn't push more like porny stuff because they would want people to have their bread in circuses kind of idea. Like during the lockdowns, how we were able to, like, all the liquor stores were still open and the fast food was open, but the gyms were closed. Maybe dancing was kind of one of those things where it's just that's going to allow them to feel like life is still somewhat normal and not too bad because they get to dance.
Yeah, 'cause you gotta
Yeah.
be some outlet for that.
Do
One of the things I read about for FTV, Jack Andy, was that there was the government who put forward a lot of these type um, contestant game shows, a lot of these variety music programs. They started thinking that they needed to have a more participatory element to their shows because there's a contradiction between them putting forward all this collectivist views of society, but not involving the viewers at home with a lot of that entertainment. And so once they started incorporating ways for people to vote on music, videos of people, singers, by having people write in or call, and or having people think that they have a good chance of getting onto a game show, that proved to be very popular. And so
that makes me think of all the competition shows we have here,
Yeah.
which I kind of think of as brain dead entertainment. Not judging. I have my own different favorite kinds of brain dead entertainment, but you feel like you're a part of something. Your vote matters. Call in Dancing with the Stars, Jim had a great quote. Think of it as a release valve. It's still controlled, but it gives people a bit of relief from the odiousness of their lives. That's correct.
Right.
So if you want to pull up the Simpsons video or one of your other clips, I'm going to see if I can find that dancing clip that I mentioned that my friend made that I didn't think of it beforehand, but it combined some of the Russian dancing with the TikTok dancing. So I'm going to look for that.
Yeah, Pirate, you can pull up the Simpsons clip. It's not an actual clip from the Simpsons, but a artist did a version of the Simpsons intro, but in the style of, Soviet Union entertainment. So it's kind of depressing, actually, but it's well done. So let's take a look at that.
This is so depressing.
I
know. Just look at the color choices. Oh. Makes me want to cry.
Fart in the room.
Oh man!
Hey, Mark.
Wow, that ending. Dark. Who made this?
I don't know. This person does a lot of animations. That video I just showed is very popular. It's got like 15 million views.
What? That was so disturbing, but I'm so glad you showed it to me.
But it seems accurate now.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to send you this thread in the private chat. Pirate. This is, I found it. It's Nerdy Girl, so she's going to have nightmares now.
Just watch some real Simpsons. Well, maybe that won't improve your nightmares. Maybe some old Simpsons, not new stuff. Yeah.
So we can just scroll through this thread. It's been a while since I read it, but if you want to follow Juana on Twitter, she tweets a lot about art, culture, dance, the past 2 years of authoritarianism, her mother living through communism. And this thread I thought was, she is one of the smartest people I know. And this thread I thought was really interesting. Okay, so she says, there have been many people pointing out that the proliferation of dancing nurses and doctor videos since the onset of global COVID-19 policy has been, well, tacky. I agree, but I also think there may be more going on. Scroll down. She's talking about here an artist named Meyerhold, and she says, he was a large influence on the performance art piece I created. The way movement impacts and inspires people beyond just the emotional impact to the viewer isn't something that is discussed often. However, we can see it throughout history. While watching the seemingly endless dancing nurses videos, I was suddenly struck a few weeks ago by a memory. I had seen this before, many times. My mother is both a victim and a survivor of communism. She was a performer and an actress. I have a degree in the theater arts. I have over the years noted the ways that the performing arts are both influenced by and influence authoritarian regimes. Performance at its most simplified form it's a form of storytelling, even when the performance may appear to simply be something else. And you can see there that video of people doing this collective kind of gymnastics. It's been over 14 months since those videos of dancing as part of the COVID-19 crisis began. So what story are we being told and telling? This is the question I keep asking myself. This thread is a study of that. And we'll put a link to this thread in the chat. It's just full of, from different cultures, different times throughout history, dance, just so you can look through it and see. There's no right answer here, but what it makes you think about, as she's saying, like, what story is being told and what story are we telling?
Well, the odd thing about that time was that they're saying that the healthcare workers were frontline, fighters, soldiers, whatever. And I was thinking, do not see the contradiction? Of course I see it, but the contradiction between what they're saying in terms of describing it as something that's so serious that you compare it to war, to then having people who are dancing and having a good time. It's like, think about it, like if TikTok existed back during World War II, would we be seeing American soldiers going to those beaches in Normandy?
I can't hear you.
Dancing?
Your mic is breaking up a lot. It's all fuzzy again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. What did we do last time? Did you leave and come back? He left. Okay. There he is. Oh, he's gone. He's going to come back. Tree Surgeon says, we are dancing seals for the elite is the message. Yeah, I apologize for the buzzing in his audio. Thank you guys. Chinese TikTok dance videos. Can you put that thread back up, Pirate? Oh, well, there's Mr. Chris.
I'm back.
Hello?
Is that any better?
Yes, it's gone.
Excellent.
Yay.
Yeah,
So you
I don't
got
know
cut
what
off there at the end.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, just think about it. Like, if it was World War II and the soldiers had TikToks back then, would you see a bunch of soldiers dancing on the beaches in Normandy, doing like synchronized dances, making it all cute? Well, there's being gunfire all around. It's just ridiculous. It's the things they were trying to get us to accept, and it always feels like an exercise. That was the point, to see how far can they go and putting out contradicting messaging.
Yeah, it also was sort of, the hospitals are overrun and these are our heroes. And we know everyone's scared and it's awful, but our heroes are also going to perform for us now and show us that everything's going to be fine. It's very performative, and it in your mind, in my mind, it brought up the obvious question of, well, I guess they're not that busy if they can do all these videos. But for the masses, I think, who love the kind of people who love that stuff and were sharing it, I don't think that question entered their mind. Do you think it did? I think they were just sort of like, look at our heroes. They're also entertaining us. Yay.
Yeah.
They're keeping their spirits about them.
Just imagine, like, if you went to the doctor's office and your doctor came in and was like dancing. It's like, yeah, I got some bad news for you. You have 6 months left to live.
He's like, it's cancer.
What?
Do the robot.
Yeah. Wait, what? Well, I guess it's not so bad. Thanks, Doc.
I don't know if you can hear Tiger crying, but that's because there's a train. Little
Oh,
baby.
he wants to conduct
Yeah.
that train. Oh.
Yeah. He becomes a baby if there's thunder or a train or just a couple of things like that. Anyway. Yeah, so thank you for scrolling through this while we were talking pirate. Because she included so many, again, you should check out this thread. She included so many different examples, not just historic examples of dancing during, I guess, times of crisis, but also a lot. She went out and curated and collected all the TikTok. Look at this doctor.
It's creepy though.
It is creepy. And a full mask like that.
Yeah, it's like they're mocking.
Ew. This isn't cool. I think hopefully we're going to look back on this and be like, what was wrong with us?
Wait, what?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just bizarre.
No, that's more disturbing than that Simpsons video we watched.
It is very disturbing. Okay. I've enjoyed this, hanging out with you and learning about some of this stuff.
Yeah.
I especially enjoy the the commercials for things that don't exist and the morning exercise routine.
I have one other video we can go out on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put that in the chat. Pirate, that is in the chat. No.
Yeah. Doesn't look so deadly to me, says Therese.
It's a boogie virus. That's it. So this video that will be up soon is not from the Soviet Union, but it is from Russia. And it is hilarious. I think.
Is this a surprise?
Yes.
What is this?
This is the future, Keri. Wait for the chorus.
What is this? Like an alien? No.
This is a more evolved human being. He's from the future. Does it kind of look like Vladimir Putin?
He does look like Putin, and he has a starfish. He's wearing a starfish on his head.
You don't have to play those. But yeah, I just wanted to play that.
You can turn it down, but leave it on. Yeah, turn it down. John Feder says, I think the coot came from this fat dog. Yes. This is patient zero right here. Little tiger. What year was this?
I'm guessing 97. It sounds like, although they're always behind. Like, well, you know, Russia and other countries are behind in terms of music genres that are popular here. But it sounds very Euro dance. So 97 on the
There's something off
It's
about
kind of
it.
catchy though. Yeah, he's weird.
Is it catchy?
This is like the Russian Daft Punk.
Do you watch this and go, oh, white people?
Every day.
He's got spindly alien arms.
Starfish on his head.
Thank you for the super chat, Christopher Gorey, $4.99. Thank you, sir. He says, Keri and Pirate, keep it up. We need truth telling more than ever. Thank you. We also need to laugh at Russian entertainment.
Yeah. I wonder how many Russian soldiers are listening to this song right now. Gets them pumped up.
It's too bad Mandy wasn't here tonight. She could tell us all about this.
Does she speak Russian?
She does. She's always accusing me of being Russian bot. That's a good one. Information. So this is what happened to Macaulay Culkin.
This is Home Alone 8.
Are you okay?
Tiger doesn't like the song. He's going back to his spaceship. He did his job. He brought us peace through our ears.
Was this a popular song? Do you know?
I don't know. It's popular there, but it's popular on YouTube. It's got
Is it?
almost 90 million views.
What?
Yeah. People know
Why?
talent when they see it, Keri.
People with no talent?
What are you talking? That's not talent. Can you do that, Keri?
What is this? This is a surprise from Pirate. Pirate's Choice, guys.
Oh, that's just the same
Oh,
one.
oh, he's
Yeah, he's
showing
just
us how
looking
many
at it.
views. Weird Russian singer.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, people like to laugh at it. Nerdy Girl says, yeah, it's just, it's anyway. it's
Yeah.
fun.
Like that. Yeah. Oh, you gotta sign it. But we'll record that as a like.
How about this? How about this Synth-pop one? Can we
Oh,
play
yeah.
one more?
Do you want to play that?
Yeah,
a little
this was
bit?
this was Soviet.
Yeah.
Oh,
Interesting.
I put it in the wrong chat. Okay.
And this is real. I had to look this up because I was like, is this done in the style of 80s? But it's barely real. So like I thought that guy was like, this has to be fake. That can't be real. The audience quickly dead.
They are so dead, this audience.
This is like a Russian Depeche Mode, I guess.
И плеск души, лунный свет и майский дождь в небесах.
Pirate says we should vamp for 2 minutes. But they're not.
Look how serious he is. Like the audience is just picking up his dead energy and they're just going back to it.
I
Or
always
maybe
thought
he's
it was
upset at them.
like I always thought it was weird when bands looked like they were too cool to be at their own show. I mean, I understand concentrating while you play, but when they're just sort of like, you think they're doing a grocery list in their head.
Looking forward to that sandwich I had.
Долгий век моей звезды.
Actually,
Yeah,
I'll
I
tell you
got it,
something
man.
Anthony said. When it's a song that he plays all the time and he knows very well. Pirate says that's Jeremy from the Quartering after the shave in the hat with the uniglasses. So Anthony says if he knows the song really well and he's playing at a show and he doesn't have to think about it, that he will be thinking of other things in his head. And it could be a really complicated song, but as long as he knows it well enough. And there was one night where I was like, oh my gosh, I can't remember what song he did. It was so great. Maybe it was Malagueña. And it looks so difficult. And how do you remember all that? And he told me he was thinking about the next episode of this stupid TV show that we watch. Like, I wonder what's going to be on the.
Hopefully it worked. So I wonder if this is like a Top of the Pops type show.
Top of the Pops, yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like it says poke back there. Top of the poke. He's so bored.
I'm too good for this audience. I need to
He
buy
just-
more product for my hair.
Oh, he's like that guy that comes to your party and just looks like he's too good for it, and you're sort of like, why did I invite you? Mm.
Hey, the stream
What?
has just been suspended for copyright reasons.
Oh,
Holy crap. Okay, let's stop.
yeah.
Yeah, let me stop sharing. It'll come back eventually, but
Oh, so we're
post
not live
something in the
anymore?
chat. No, the actual yeah, it says suspended, so it'll come back if you keep talking about stuff that's not with copyright.
Oh,
No.
okay. Stay on with us and see if it comes back. Copyright USSR. Oh man. If you guys can see us again, let us know.
I've got a live stream up and it's still blocked.
Well, that's
They're
weird.
like, how dare you play that synth pop and enjoy it more than
Yeah.
the singer?
That's strange.
It was Soviet Lord of the Rings, wasn't it? You know what it is? It's when we play it for a long period of time without pausing it and talking.
Hmm.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, we have to kind of break it up more. Although that was fun to put it on in the background because it's music and just let it go. But yeah.
Back in the USSR.
Yeah.
we're back in the USSR. You don't know how lucky you are.
The thing is, as well, all we talk about now, we won't. That won't be part of the stream at all.
That's okay. I'm just talking to you.
No, I know. I'm just saying, but just I've got the other. I've got it up on another tab. So, yeah. I'm
Okay.
just saying anything we say won't be recorded. Won't be like presented or whatever.
Well,
Oh,
it's
That's
being
how-
recorded on StreamYard, so we could upload the full version to Rumble
hmm.
if we wanted to.
Well, yeah. I mean, you could. Yeah.
And
I was
yeah,
going to talk to you about Rumble as well, but off stream after the end of this. But there we go.
are we
Is it
back?
It's back. Yeah.
We're
What?
back.
You guys were back. So, a couple
Damn
things.
commies.
WTF commies don't have copyrights. I thought
Yeah, what the
everything
hell?
belonged to everyone.
I
I thought in communist Russia, all the music is we all own it. I mean, isn't it oppressive to say copyright?
Yeah.
That's your property, my property.
YouTube Gulag took us away for a period of time. Now YouTube Gulag lets us back.
We have seen the OF always. Yes.
John Miller, what happened? Yeah, if you guys haven't figured it out, I think we got a copyright strike because we were listening to that Russian synth pop for too long, and we were enjoying it more than the Sid. We were. I mean, yeah, that was kind of funny.
That's so weird.
While we were, it is weird. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, I was just saying, how strange it was.
It's weird. We were having a conversation while we were offline, guys. That was pretty funny. I'm not going to tell you the whole thing. It was just
I
know
was
that we
dropping
had lots of
N-bombs
laughs.
left and right. Great.
So stupid. You guys are really funny. Damn Riskies.
Mystery Chris was totally abusing his end card. During the stream. My God. It was worse than watching an episode of The Wire. It was that bad.
It was bad. He gave me the N card. I gave him the C card. And Pirate gave us the B card.
Well, yeah.
Sharing is caring, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I got the impression. I win the. I'm at the bottom of the oppression hierarchy. So
Pirates are down here.
Just identify as trans. All right. Okay.
Yeah. You guys are really funny. You need to report to the nearest re-education center. Yeah, I guess we're just gonna go out on a whimper now.
Can we like play like the American end of a sign off? I'm gonna play that.
Let's do
As a
that.
middle finger.
Pirate as a cleanser. What a great idea, Chris. We're going to play the American flag national anthem sign off to cleanse our palate. And hopefully we don't get a strike as we go out. But Kevin Anderson says best at this point just to fade away. I wonder if there's a filter we could do where we just kind of fade into the background like Homer into the bush.
Yeah. Let's see. Is there? Must be a good one. Not that one. Can we play this one? It's a parano now.
That's not. Oh no, that's not it. You tricked us. That's not the sign off.
That's the only America I know.
Okay. Wait. That's right. You're not American.
Damn it, Keri.
What pirate?
What? Send me the link.
Okay. Here we go. Unfortunately, I think this is the one. Everybody likes that one. Everybody likes yours, pirate. They're not gonna like this at all.
This is gonna be boring as shit.
It is. I don't know if this is the one I'm thinking of. On YouTube, there's a few of them.
And you know what? Joe Biden's probably going to claim this one. He's going to copyright claim this bitch.
Well, there's no kids in it, so.
Well.
Is that a joke? Oh. No, don't do this one. Let's do the poltergeist one. That's the one that every nerd girl and everybody else in the chat was talking about. There we go. That one. We'll sign off with this. You guys, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. We're just having fun and being silly at the end of our show since getting banned for showing Russian propaganda. And I'm one of your hosts, Keri Smith. This is Mystery Chris, Pirate Tomsky. If you like the show, hello. Hit like. Anything else I should say, Pirate, before we go?
Join locals.
Join the locals. We are going to be doing book club there only. And we'll have more news on that soon. I think that's it.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, take that. Yeah, you got a statue like that? No, you don't. Very valid.
Did you ever watch Poltergeist?
No, never seen it.
There is that iconic scene where this plays before the TV goes off.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is where ghosts come out of the TV screen.
It's a nice video, but not a lot of diversity. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to cancel it.